All right, so here we go. We have some new leaks and rumors that Cyberpunk's expansion is going to be addressing some of the biggest problems in Night City. Plus, we're going to find out how Cyberpunk has influenced the game industry on a whole in a very, very big way. I'll talk about that in just a moment. And then also we have a new secret discovery in Night City connected to, guess what? That upcoming Cyberpunk anime. This is really cool stuff. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but we're going to start here with this headline right here. It says Cyberpunk expansion may address the game's biggest problem, and there's so many opinions as to what the biggest problem is with this game. Of course, some of you would say the police system. Others would say, of course, the story is too short. Let me know your opinion on that one first and foremost. But the article goes on to say this. According to the leak, new types of activities called mini world stories and street stories will be added with the expansion. It's unknown how many mini world stories there will be, but it seems like there will be 13 street stories. Also unknown is what these new activities will involve, but it's safe to assume by their names that they'll continue to flesh out the world of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the map is currently filled with gigs, which are often simple shoot this or go get that tasks that only take a few minutes and reward the player with a small amount of money. With an apparent emphasis on telling more stories throughout the city, these activities will surely help make the open world feel more alive. I sure hope so. And by the title Mini World Stories, I'm starting to wonder if this is actually going to be similar to Ghost of Tsushima. You guys know I have mentioned this time and time again in my videos that more open world games need to go after the Ghost of Tsushima formula, and that they have these side activities. I hate to call them side activities. For me, Ghost of Tsushima did it so well. It felt like their own fully fleshed out stories, in that you would have one mission that would connect to the next, and it would tell you, you are on 3 out of 7 missions. And it would also let you know that you are going to be getting rewarded with something major, a new weapon, a new type of power or ability, which I thought was always really, really cool. So it made you go throughout these stories and complete them. And that's why Ghost of Tsushima has one of the, highest completion rates ever in an open world game, at least according to what Sony has said. So yeah, that's what I'm hopeful for. I'm really hoping that that would be something that they would tap into with Cyberpunk 2077, because I can see it bring back a lot of people to this game. All right, so let's keep going with this article. It goes on to say this: the new stories are a step in the right direction, but there's still work to be done to make the world as immersive as CD Projekt Red promised it would prior to Cyberpunk's release. In addition to these side stories, Night City needs other ways to pass time aside from the usual loop. A rumored Gigs DLC for Cyberpunk is one way that could change this. Coming from the same developer that introduced players to the hit minigame Gwent, it's hard to believe they're incapable of also creating a similarly addicting experience for Cyberpunk. The city, for the most part, is nothing more than window dressing, and the game needs more ways to make the player feel like an everyday resident. And I've heard so many of you guys saying that you want more romance. I think that's one of the biggest things that you would like to see from, I suppose, mini games, is being able to go out into the nightlife, go to bars, maybe play bowling or what have you, experience Night City in its fullest, develop relationships. Even if they aren't 100% romantic, you could have friendships and things like that. So it seems like a lot of you guys are interested in that. Let me know if I'm right or wrong, but it would be cool to experience the city beyond just shooting up things. All right, here is the next article headline. It goes on to say this: Cyberpunk cited as a reason why more games are delayed now. Of course. So this is one interesting story, how Cyberpunk's launch, as horrible as it was, as negative as it was, has impacted the gaming industry as a whole in a positive way. Now, this Forbes article leads us to this GameIndustry.biz article that says what happened to all the video games, and most importantly, to this subheadline that says the Cyberpunk warning. So we got to talk about this one in depth here. So this is what the article goes on to say. It says right here: we took one look at what happened to Cyberpunk 2077 and thought, yep, we're delaying this, says a US game director from one of the world's biggest game franchises. I guess they wanted to remain anonymous. Now it says CD Projekt is one of the most respected game studios in the world, and they released a game so broken that Sony pulled it from their own digital store. That's unprecedented. That's humiliating. We knew our game wasn't in the best shape. Maybe we could patch it up with a day one update, but we saw Cyberpunk and decided it wasn't worth the risk. I suspect that was a wake-up call across the industry, and you're seeing a lot of games being delayed, for many different reasons. But I really do think that there is this fear from Cyberpunk's launch and what happened to CD Projekt Red's stock, that companies are stepping back and going, "Whoa, we cannot have that happen to us at all. It's not worth it. Delay the game." So it's weird in a way. Again, Cyberpunk has essentially, in my mind, helped the gaming industry overall, put a fear in developers and publishers, especially publishers, because I don't think they want to feel that type of pain on their stock. Now, this is interesting. Of course, I have previously talked about Edge Runners. I cannot wait for that one. You guys have probably seen the trailer. Of course, it looks really, really sleek. Well, there's actually something in Cyberpunk 2077 that ties directly into Edge Runners. Check this out right here. It says, Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime protagonist was referenced in the game 2 years ago. Preem. So yeah, this is the actual source. It comes from Vesna Vanica Brainrot. And he posted this on Twitter right here. It says, "Bro, you didn't." And of course, we have the tweet from the official Cyberpunk Edge Runners account, which says this right here. And it describes David Martinez, who of course is going to be our main protagonist in Cyberpunk 2077. But guess what? David Martinez has a drink at the Afterlife in Cyberpunk. It's called the David Martinez. Check it out if you want to. But I thought that was so cool to see that they actually tied in some teases to Edge Runners before it was actually a thing. They knew that they wanted to take this path with David Martinez. So I thought that was pretty neat for sure. Now, there's also some other new stuff going on with Cyberpunk outside of course, the Cyberpunk game. Check this out right here. It says Cyberpunk 2077 Blackout #1 review solid. So we're already hearing some positive reception about Blackout right here. I have not read it myself just yet, but let me know what you guys make of this one. It sounds very dark, to be honest with you, and I'm curious to see what you guys might think of some of the comic books that are releasing for Cyberpunk 2077, but go check it out. All right, now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video right here. So let's do this. My most recent video was this one right here. Cyberpunk is changing forever because of this. This is truly amazing. Then I have a Starfield gameplay update right there for you all. But yes, some incredible things are happening here with Cyberpunk because of one thing, and that is the modding community. And a lot of you guys were wondering if they would be working directly with CD Projekt Red. Well, they have hired several modders to help them with, upcoming content, things like that. So I can't wait to see what they've actually done. All right, so we have this one right here. We have Emperor Billy Ritchie, who says this: the mod community is really, really important and would be nice if they updated Cyberpunk to have mod support on consoles. Hell yes. The anime trailer alone got me back into replaying the game, and with patch 1.5 update, it really makes the game pop. Yes, I'm curious, now that you mention it, to see how many people come back to Cyberpunk because of the anime. They did see that happening with The Witcher, because of The Witcher Netflix live action series. I'm not too sure if it's going to be as impactful because it's an anime, but I still feel like people will be venturing back into Cyberpunk 2077 after watching it. Now, we have Brian Dukes, who says this: your passion and dedication to Cyberpunk has honestly kept me interested in the game for far longer than I thought possible. Please keep up the great work. No problem. You are most welcome. I'm trying my best. I am also trying Starfield. I'm hoping that YouTube decides to share my Starfield content a little bit more in the future. We'll have to see what happens with that. Now, Kuma says this: if they want to revitalize Cyberpunk, they need to add a modding interface on console like Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Hell, you can even add a tipping system to motivate modders, and CD Projekt Red could take a 10% profit from the tips. Interesting. What do you guys think about that one? Maybe they'll go like a Creation Club route eventually. Who knows? I know there's been controversy with that one, but yeah, it's also really cool to see that many of you want to support modders financially. I'm always a big believer in that as well. Now we have Black Phillip, who says this: I hate the flying vehicles are just a part of the scenery. It really limits the game. Edit. Also, having places for flying cars to go like hospitals, police stations, gang hideouts that are high up, banks, etc. would add to the immersion. Yes, and also, wouldn't it be cool if penthouses, you know, like Arasaka type penthouses were tied to going up high, you know what I mean? That would be so cool, and having to get into a hover car. I know there's the hover car mod that is out right now. And yeah, it would be so cool if they could add that into the expansion officially. Again, I think they need to reach out to this modding community because they're creating some absolutely amazing stuff. All right, so there it is, the latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. Thank you all so much for the love and support on the Cyberpunk videos. I have you guys covered. I took a little break recently after the Cyberpunk reveal. Again, check out my Cyberpunk videos. I hope that they do start taking off more and more as we get into the game's release. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.